Hello, this is Mike. Um, Coming to you this evening with a Stoelting Class rundown to give you guys some information on YouTube. I went and did a little quick thing from the facility um, for my people on Instagram. So I didn't want to leave my people out. That's on YouTube. So let me tell you a little bit about Stolting. Let me um let me see if my notes are has synced up. I am hoping that it did. It looks like it did. So come on with me and let's get into this. I'm just getting started with the YouTube thing, so I figured forget it. I don't have to make this polished and all that other stuff. I'm not gonna let you wait. I'm just gonna go ahead and let you see what I see. And so I am going to share with you. Let's see here. I'm just going to share with you the entire screen. All right. I keep saying I'm going to. All right, bear with me here. All right, so everything is in my notes, which this thing is now in front of. Notes. All right. So what I do is I take a lot of notes. So this is the reference book. You're gonna have to excuse my horrible spelling. So Stoelting is an American company. Let's see here. Hold on, let me go back. Let me make sure you guys can see me. Let's see here. Hey, can you guys see me okay when I flip to notes? What I'm gonna do is I'm probably gonna take a look at my own thing. Let me see if I can see my stuff. All right. Sorry about that. So these are the machines that provide you with chocolate shakes. They provide you with gelato, and that's only a few units that'll provide you with gelato. Um, Frozen custard. All right, so let's see here. Okay, you are seeing, and you're actually seeing me. All right, we're good. We're good. Now we can get into it. So, Dairy Queen, there's over 700 Dairy Queen stores in Texas. Not all of them use Stolting, but quite a few. Shake Shack, Culver's, Freddy, Sonic, and then all the Sam's Club. Sam's Club definitely uses this. When I get more users, I really want to show you guys um, an inside track on this thing, especially when it comes to Sam's Club, and how you can get your hands on some of this equipment when it's only like 2 years old. Because at 2 years, they do like the car rental companies. After 2 years, they try to uh, sell off the old equipment and get new. So Central Market, which is part of HEB, Golden Corral, and that's just to name a few. And that's what's in my market here in Texas. Um, so we got a quick reference guide. When you go to so you have online text, you have tech support that you can call, And then we have a very large manual. We have a digital copy as well on USB. So they give us everything we need when we're out there in the field. So this is all from my perspective. You're seeing what I see in class. Um, so what you have is you have these paddles, you have these blades. And in this case, they're called flights. And what they do is they rotate around a shaft inside a cylinder. And what they do is they scrape. That is that is what you see here. And so they're going inside what we call the barrel, and they're scraping the product off the sides and folding it back into the product to give you even consistency, and then it will come out when the product is when it's ready to serve. It'll come out the front. Now that's no matter if it's milkshake, no matter if it's frozen yogurt, no matter if it's frozen custard, soft ice cream, which would then have to be put in a hardening cabinet, and some would even say a dipping cabinet, but a hardening cabinet to firm it up. Um, and then there's a few other things. There's a few other things you can make. Now, one thing that a lot of people that watch me are always concerned about is warranty. Man, what about warranty? Warranty starts 1 year after the item is shipped. Not even like other products where the warranty starts after they finish with construction or after a lot of other products, it'll start when you show that they got their business license. So when they got their business license or liquor license, you can send that over to the factory, and then they'll start the warranty from that period. Well, not this situation. Warranty starts 1 year, 1 year after it is shipped. So if it took it 6 months to get to them, and then they took another 6 months to finish build out of that location, by the time all that's done, they have no warranty. And even still, warranty will not be done by you. It will be done by the distributor or even someone that's authorized. Like as of now, well, I did this before the virus, so I was able to do it back then. But that's done by someone else, and that is always done through the factory. So even if you go out and there's an issue, you would need to call the factory, and then the factory is going to determine if they're even going to entertain that warranty claim or not. So they're going to go and check the records and see when the item was shipped out. And like I said, you only got 1 year. And even still, a startup is needed. So once again, someone who's trained, someone who's in the system is going to go out and then go through the startup checklist and send that back to Stoelting. And then all this is on their official form, and then all this is done through Stoelting with Stoelting. It is not initiated by you. It is not initiated by the customer, right? So they're going to be involved with it every step of the way. That's going to be the contractors, the distributor. All those people are going to be involved with it. And if you all are sending messages, I am currently not looking at that. I just have the screen up. Let's see here. Okay. Small screen on our left. Hold on one second. Let me see what you guys are talking about. Yeah, I'm in the small screen. I am in the small screen. So, all right, I'll be able to see your messages using my phone. We'll do that. We'll do that today. I just wanted to get this out real quick, and then we'll have to do something polished up. Because it's actually a 3-day training. So the first day is you go the first day is over some of the more common soft serve machines that are at Minchie's and Orange. I think it's Orange Leaf, and there are a number of soft serve places. So that is day one. That's the entire day one, and then day two is going to be the pressurized machines that are at Dairy Queen and places like that. And even I saw they even have it for some of the gyms are incorporating this into some of their food offerings. Some healthy mixes of some type, some kind of shakes. So, um, and then day three is going to be the gelatin. Day three is going to be the custard machines. Miami Appliance, what's happening? All right, so we go over just like you do with any other class, like you guys are going to have tomorrow through Manitowoc, and I think somebody might even have Scotsman tomorrow. But we go through the breakdown of what the model number means and how to read it and what it tells you about the unit. All right, here's some of the stuff, and a lot of these shots are going to be over what this first set of machines. Because we covered like about a good dozen machines. They're all in the same class. So yeah, this one makes Italian ice, water ice. Um, so it's just a little example of what comes out of the machine. Um, right, non-dairy, that type of stuff. Then the soft serve and really what makes it soft serve. And what you end up going through is the different problems that you encounter when you're dealing with a soft serve machine. And when it comes to soft serve machine, I don't care if it's this is going to sound like a crazy name, but I don't care if it's a Spaceman. I don't care if it's a Stolting. I don't care if it's Taylor, Orel, Frosty Factory. Everyone, every manufacturer has an issue when it comes to chocolate because of the sugar content. Chocolate has a hard time um, just maintaining that texture, all right, without it breaking down. And so the longer you whip it or beat it, right, the longer it's in there getting whipped and having air whipped into it, it will the viscosity will change. It'll go from something like this where you see a nice whipped cone to you'll end up with like a drippy, droopy type of thing. All right. Let me see if I can make my. I really don't want to mess with this. All right. So the soft serve. So soft serve is not ice cream. Um, soft serve does not have enough butter fat to be legally ice cream. So I believe it has to be about 10% in order for it to be considered ice cream. And then they have other ingredients and butterfat content for it to be called premium ice cream. All right. So I know it's kind of small, but I didn't get a chance to transfer this over to the format on in the system. So frozen yogurt, butterfat content is lower. It goes up to about 2%. Right. And so this is a very common thing. It's the popularity is not quite there like it used to be even 5 years, even 8 years ago. It was a lot more popular than what it is now. Then you got your gelato. All right. So as your butterfat content, we use that using the basically using the batch freezer. And it's that's what you see anytime you go to into a nice little gelato cafe, or if you go into a lot of different coffee shops have gelato now. Movie theaters have gelato cases and things, And so using these Stoelting machines, you can make your fresh made small batch custom gelato, any type of flavors that you're interested in. All right. Let's see here. You guys got any questions? And then frozen custard. All right. So that's Culver's. We have a Rita's Pizza Shop, Fat, is that Fat Shack, Freddy's. So, and that frozen custard has egg yolk in it. All right. We got any questions at all? I'm all ears. All right. And then so here's premium ice cream. So premium ice cream is 14 to 16%. Now, the reason why why all these things get brought up is because you have to program the machine to handle the different ingredients. And so when you have this high butter fat, you're going to program because it's not going to be saying it's not going to have the same settings as it will for that water ice. All right. So like I said, there's the temperatures. So we're gonna these machines you can adjust the temperature. So it's nothing like a refrigerator at your home where you just set it. These ranges are a lot different. You can control the ranges. All right. So you can make them tighter. Like here it is, soft serve is 17 to 21 degrees, but yogurt is 18 to 21. Right. So you wouldn't even think that 1 degree different would make that much change in the product, and it does. So there's just a number of other things. Hey, what's going on there? Common problems? Oh man. All right. So I was asked common problems. This book, uh, this book is that's why you go to the class. It's 3 days of common problems because chocolate is a common problem. We spent half the day talking about just chocolate and the problems. Most common problem is that these locations do not sanitize the machines properly. They try to conserve the product, so the they'll make the product, let's say on a Monday, and legally they can do this for about 3 days. They can have that same product and like rerun it or use it and freeze it. But the problem is that once you already take a liquid and then you freeze it and you've added sugar and milk and other and flavoring, it now is different. It's like taking motor oil and putting it in a car and then running your car with it. And then you drain that oil from your car. Can you use that oil again? Yeah, you can use that oil again, but it's not the same as fresh oil, right? And so that's the situation. Okay, good. So that's the situation that you're in is that you're gonna take chocolate that you turn into frozen yogurt, and then you're gonna take it and put it back in the machine. So you use it Monday, and then it's been sitting in the machine. One part of the machine refrigerates it, and the other part that gets ready to serve it freezes it. So no one buys it on Monday. You run it all out of the machine, and you put it back in the machine to be used for Tuesday. Well, you go Tuesday to draw it out of the machine, and now it doesn't look right. It doesn't look right, and then it's kind of gummy, kind of pasty, and then it's got like little crunches in it, ice crystals, and that's because you've now changed the consistency of the product. And so it's just a matter of telling people they have to throw away that money, and it is money is literally money that they're throwing away because the mixture that they're buying is not free. Some of those the mixtures vary from getting a fresh dairy mix that comes from a dairy. It literally comes from a dairy farmer that mixes skim milk, heavy cream, and another form of milk, right? I don't know, maybe 2%. And it's a particular blend that they'll do. And so you're buying that fresh in order to make your product. And now you didn't sell as much of it. Maybe you only sold $20 worth. And now you got to throw out what could have been 200 servings, 200 cones, 200 bowls. And now you got to throw all that away. That's kind of a hard thing for people to come to grips with. And so, as a matter of practice, of business practice, they would tell their employees, because it's legal. It is legal to always say, okay, we didn't sell that much today. Go ahead and dump it back in the machine. It's going to take it from frozen back to a refrigerated liquid, and then we'll use that tomorrow. Well, it doesn't quite turn out so well. And then they want us, the customer will then turn around and go to you as the technician and say, hey, my machine is broken. This stuff doesn't come out right. I put the mix in, and then the mix comes out all gooey. It doesn't come out like a regular cone. Like I can go to McDonald's or some of the other places, and they're like twist the cone and give a nice little spiral pattern. And mine doesn't do any of that. It actually like falls off the cone. And that has to do with them not using fresh products, but they want to blame you for it. All right. So we're just going over that, how to recognize that. And then we went over stuff that if they don't clean the machine, you have bacteria that grows in the machine, right? And it's kind of like the whole point of frozen yogurt is that you're eating this good bacteria. So you're cultivating this bacteria in there, and if you don't actually sanitize the machine and kill off all that bacteria, you're actually creating harmful bacteria. No longer like a good gut healthy bacteria, a good fauna, right? And so just identifying that, like I learned something new today. I was told that if you go and pour the frozen yogurt mix or ice cream into a bowl or cup or a cone, and then you go and you squeeze it and pull it, if it stretches from the container, then it's full of bacteria and not the good type. So it should break. You should be able to pull it and it just splits apart, right? Common things are belts. There are belts on these machines, because each lever you see is attached to a barrel. So you'll typically have one barrel for one solid flavor, another level that opens up a barrel of another flavor. So typically it'll be like, we'll just say vanilla and chocolate or strawberry and mango. And then the middle one, it just opens up both barrels to combine it to make your swirl. And so there are belts that turn, that provide that churning motion. And there's motors at the bottom of the machine that then has a pulley that goes to the back of the barrels. And that's how they're strong enough to churn the ice cream, the custard, the milkshake, the lemon ice, the cocktails, the soft serve. That's how that works. And these motors, these are like 2 horsepower motors. And so these motors, sometimes they will stretch out the belt. The belt will wear out, especially if they leave the product in there and then the consistency is off, it's different, or they set the temperature too low. So you have it set 18 degrees, but now you have milkshake in there. The milkshake freezes hard because of the sugar content, right? The milkshake freezes hard. It doesn't have enough sugar to keep it viscous, right? It doesn't have enough sugar in it to keep it moving. And then it gets solid. Well, it gets solid that horsepower, it's still turning that belt and it just burns and chews that belt up. Um, so is all right. So I got a question here. So is one liable for a bad batch of product and a free trip and chasing a tail about a product we can know if it's fresh? Yeah, yeah, you will know if it's fresh. On my screen, it's hard for you to see, but I have a thing that says the higher the bricks sugar content, the lower the freeze. So you'll be able to test certain things um, to know about the bacteria. You'll be able to do all that kind of stuff, and then you're going to break these things down. You got to break it all the way down. There are a number of seals and rings that prevent all that stuff from just oozing out. Eh, eh, you're not really going to be able to see this. Let me see here. Let me just go through this, and then I can go ahead and show you guys some more of the. Then I can get into some of the videos and all that kind of stuff. All right. Overrun is how much air is whipped into it. Overrun, overrun is, and as I go through these, I'll address because this whole video I could just go on and on about the problems. Overrun is has anybody ever turned liquid whipping cream into whipped cream? Has anybody ever steamed milk? Right? If you've ever done that, what you have created is what they consider overrun. That's whipping air, folding air into the product, and that increases the volume of the product because no one wants to eat a heavy, dense product. The heaviest product on the market is Haagen-Dazs, and Haagen-Dazs will not sell you a large container because you won't eat it. You'll get sick. Not sick as in like violently ill, but sick as it is so heavy and so thick in your stomach, you can't eat it. You'll end up eating too much and you won't feel good. So that's why they sell you the little small containers. You always wonder why they're so skimpy with that little itty bitty container. And that's because they're not selling you air like if you buy Breyers or any of those other brands, they whip in a lot of air. So that is overrun. Yes, overrun can change. Overrun is a big part of the flavor, right? That's what they were saying in my notes. Air pockets contain volatile flavor components, right? It's going to taste completely different when it's dense compared to when it has air in it. When it's more dense, you get more of an intense flavor, and it can actually be a little off-putting. Um, so yeah, that's overrun. And then here we go, how to calculate overrun. So it's all in the book, it's all online, it's all in a USB that you get, and we have this calculation for overrun. And this is very similar to the calculation you do with an ice machine to see if you have the right amount of ice. So it is just a simple formula like this to get it. Something like this you're going to do for a customer maybe once, right? Once. And this is when they get like a new, maybe they might switch product, and then they switch brands. They go with Dole, and before they were going with Metal Veil. So say before they were going with Metal Veil, and then now they switched and they've gone to Dole. And say, man, my stuff don't turn out right. It comes out all clumpy and gooey. And then you'll do this quick calculation and see what their overrun needs to be, especially for the product, right? And so this tells you like what your overrun should be based on what size container. Then you know what the overrun is going to be, and then no matter what size container you're using, you're going to have the right equation of overrun. But that's a good one. Somebody know a little bit about overrun. All right, too little overrun, right? Did we talk about that's the standard Dairy Queen loop that's at the top, right? Too little overrun, you're giving away too much product. Right, it's heavy, it's cold, it'll freeze the customer's mouth. Less profitable because you're giving away twice as much product, right? And the customer's not happy for it. They're just like, that was different. Um, so you're capable of making all those changes. So here's another example of overrun. I know you're seeing like a real small version, but same product on the left, same product on the left as it is on the right. Same amount, same product. The one on the left has 35% over, 65% overrun, and the container on the right is 35%, right? So as you see, the weight is the same. Both are 5.25 ounces. So you're not ripping them off. You're not charging them more money. So it's just that the product does not look enticing, and it doesn't taste the same. All right, but too much, like they said, the customer get bloating feeling. It's not a nice thing. Yeah, I know it's kind of amazing, right? Um, there's all the documentation. I don't know what happened with my login. My login is not working. My username is there, but it don't work. I have to call them about that. Stoelting is owned by Voraf, as I got the thing going by. I don't know if you guys see me with that black jacket. That jacket is from Voraf. So they do hot and cold. They're kind of like that Duke company for Subway, where they do a lot of stuff. So here is you're not really gonna be able to see this too well, but on this screen here, um, you see the actual motor, the pulleys, and the belts. All right. So on this, that's what's on the back. When you look at the back of the machine, you'll see the motor, the pulleys, and the belts. All right, and we did a whole thing with belt tensioning. We're not going to be using that tool. Unfortunately, this tool, which this is an old picture, I looked it up today. It's the cheapest one was $200. I don't have one of these. I got to get me one. I got to get one. Okay. Like I said, we go. They give us service bulletins, so they give you everything you need. So these are all different type of models. What their style is. So E and F. So F 212. Let me see here. F 431. That's gonna be more of a Dairy Queen type of place. Custard machines. There we go. Gravity feed. All right. Gravity feed is you're putting the product in the very top. And as you use the product out the front, it siphons in more product from the top. The top, which the product is in what's called hoppers. The top is refrigerated, and the bottom, where the product is spinning around that you're looking at, that's actually what's being frozen. Yeah, TMM. What's up, brother B? So the bottom is actually being frozen while the top is just being refrigerated. So that is gravity fed. Now you have your pressure, which is your Dairy Queen, where you have bags, you have containers in the lower section, and you're actually using pressure to force, use like CO2 to force that product up into the machine. All right, that's pressure feed. And so what I was saying is you have the belts that have to have a certain tension. And then what we learned today is that the belts that are used on these machines are Kevlar belts. They're Kevlar coated, and you actually have to move the motor so that you can actually put on the belt, and then you have to retension it. If you actually force the belt on, if you slide the belt on, you're actually going to crack the Kevlar sleeve on the belts, and then the belts are gonna the covers are gonna come off. And so here it is. Here it is again. Here's the actual warranty. You have 12 months after the date, right, that it was shipped. 12 months. That's it. 12 months after they shipped it out. So if it was sitting there for a month, 2 months, they've only got 10 months later. 10 months later. So this is Sterashine. Are all models run the same diagnostic? No. No, we spent several hours on the different systems because these units have been around for so many years. These units have been around since before we were born. Um, I don't know if you guys remember like Happy Days and all that with the sock hops and all that. This stuff has been around since before then. Um, and so they have all kind of old controls, and they've just recently modernized it. And once they started modernizing it, they just wrote real quick. So that's why you can see on the manual here, you can see that they have digital controls. It's very simple. You just go in and push a certain sequence, and you go in there and you could turn everything on and off, just like you would with a very high end appliance, just like you would with a high end appliance. Um, so they have different diagnostics, but you have the information to get in there. It's not like it's a number code. It's an actual sequence like you do on a front load or top load washing machine. How you have to push the buttons in a certain sequence to get into the diagnostic mode. So it's nothing crazy. And this is the stair sheen. This is the cleaner, the sanitizer to get rid of the bacteria in there. And it comes in I think it's like 10 or 15 to a pack. Uh, so it's like $74 for the whole box of them. Now, this is something that you guys ask me for all the time. I was going to blow this up. So, like I said, I had this class today. I got out of class a few hours ago, just got into the hotel room and everything. And I'm just going to share this with you now. Later on, I'll go ahead and polish this up, blow this up, because I did like zoom in and it's still blurry. But what I'm zooming in for you guys is if you have to change a cap tube that's 3 hours. If you got to change a condenser, that is an air cooled condenser, that's 4 hours. Water cooled condenser, that's 3 hours. So what that is they have tubes that water runs through or glycol, and then that's like wrapped around the compressor, and that's how it dissipates the heat is by running water um around that compressor and having the heat from the compressor transfer to the water and then let that water go away. So whether you dump it down the drain, which unfortunately this is crazy, but unfortunately, a lot of restaurants, a lot of these little mom and pop places, they turn on the water hose, and that water goes from the faucet to the soft serve machine, wraps around that compressor, and then goes right down to the sewer, goes right down to the drain. The water is constantly running from the time they turn the machine on to the time they turn it off. So if that business is open for 12 hours, they are dumping gallons of water down the drain for 12 hours. It's insane. But the difference why you have water cooled versus air is that it more efficiently can remove the heat away from the compressor. It's not more friendly. Uh, you can recirculate the water, but that requires a little knowledge, know-how, and it requires a little more infrastructure in your facility. And the lazy man way is just to turn on the hose and let it run in and run down the drain. Right. So before I run down this list, this is your base. This is your baseline on how you set up your fees. All right. So like Brother Brandon is on here, and Brother Brandon gets his 10 guys got out there running the field, and they're taking care of um 15 or 20 golden corrals. All right. And so you want to have a pricing that golden corral is not going to say, where the hell did you get these numbers from? Well, you say, hey, these numbers are directly from the manufacturer. The manufacturer says that If one of my 10 guys from TMM appliance comes out there and we have to change a water valve, the manufacturer says that water valve is going to take anyone 3 hours. This is what the factory will pay a trained professional to do that job. They will pay them 3 hours. Now, the rate is up to you, but they said this is how long it takes to do it, right? An evaporator, this is how long, 6 hours to do an evaporator job because you got to move certain things. So there's no mystery out there. Hey, Mike, how long to do this? How long to do that? Man, look it up. It's in the book. It's in the book. You can always call the manufacturer. Call the manufacturer. Say, hey, I would like your labor guide on how long it takes to change the components in your units. And they have all these prices already because anything that needs to be done for the factory, it needs to be in writing. How long it's going to take. And then, then they play with the rates as to what standard rate is and things like that, or, mileage and all that other good stuff. But all this is up to you. So then Brandon could go ahead, Brother B can go ahead and give these numbers to Golden Corral and say, hey, so we're charging you X amount of dollars per hour. We charge you X amount of dollars on service fee. And here it is. And then you can then present the district manager or whoever it is, the regional, corporate, you can give them your information, your booklet with the prices in writing of what it is. And all you would have to do is, if you had an increase, you would then say, hey, as of January the 1st, 2024, we are increasing our prices by, X amount, 4%, 5%, or as of June, we are including a gas fee because of the price of gas rising, so on and so forth, whatever the case may be. But you have structure. You're not out there just wild. You out there, you have a completely defendable pricing structure, something that these people can show corporate. So if you give this information to a store manager, a regional, the regional district vice president, everyone has the same thing. Everyone can defend it. All right. You guys got any other questions while I run through this? So every manufacturer has this list. They have this list. Just to change a fan blade, 1 hour. Pulley, half an hour. So 30 minutes to change the pulley. The gearbox, that's an hour. To tension the belt, to do the belt tensioning, 1 hour. 1 hour. Oh, God, excuse me. 1 hour to tension, to get the proper belt tensioning. So it's quicker to change the fan drive belt. It's quicker to do mess with the pulley than it is to actually have the belt on there and make sure it's at the right tension. All right. So let me move on. Let me move on to some other stuff. So they have everything out. Pump assembly, 1 hour. And then you add to this. So if you have to do a pump assembly, and you have to do a water valve and a solenoid valve, you add all those numbers together. So 3 for this, 3 for that, and then 1 for that. And they will also tell you, hey, if you're doing X amount of other things in this same region, they're all associated, and you add a half an hour for this or half an hour for that. But now look, it's in writing. Everyone has it. Everyone has their labor. Everyone has it. All you have to do is plug in your rate. All right. You just plug in your fees. So yeah, he just went over, you get to ask questions and stuff like that. I tried to cut out more of his face, but here's what some of the equipment looks like. So this is a countertop unit, and next to it is the full floor model. That is the full floor model next to it. So it's just missing the bottom piece. Well, I'll take that back. It's not just missing the bottom piece. With this one, the compressor is sandwiched where his kneecaps are. Um, that's where the compressor is. The compressor and everything else is right there. In this unit, the large one. Now they're both the same, but the compressor is where his feet are located, where his ankles are. That's where the compressor is. You have a lot more area. You have a lot more room to work. All right. So let me. But other than that, they're pretty much the same. Just like we went over in class, from the minute you turn on that machine, within 6 minutes, 10 minutes max, you are able to serve customers fully solidified product, right? The product that would come out after 10 minutes is going to be no different than the product that would be customer number 10. It's going to be solid. Oh yeah, I gave you guys that labor schedule because I get nothing but questions about that. Hey, what should this be? What should that be? Everyone has it. Residential and commercial, everyone has it. It all used to be published. If you do not see it, call them. They'll email it to you. They'll email it to you. They all have it because that's how they pay you. If you ask them how much they're going to pay you on a warranty call to change out an evaporator, I bet you they'll give you a number. Let me see here. Would I still invoice the 2.5? You're gonna have to specify that. Okay, okay. I'm sorry. Veteran like yourself may be faster. No, 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 no. It doesn't matter how fast I am. It doesn't matter how fast I am. That is what the factory says it's gonna take. That is what you're going to gauge your estimate off of, right? So they say it's gonna be right? 2.5. Yeah. So, yeah, but in all reality, there is no way on this earth I'm going to do a job in 30 minutes that the factory technicians take 2.5 hours to do. They give a little time for people who are not, who don't do this every day, but these are times that they do. So they do it not rushing, but they'll do it. And that's what they try to be as fair as possible. And so let me hip you to this. If you were to give a customer a bill and it would have those numbers on there, you're giving them the numbers that the factory gives. No one is going to say anything. The only thing they're gonna say, the customer go, "Oh man, Mike at Reed Appliance, man, he was here for an hour and 20 minutes, but he told me it was gonna take like 2 hours and 25 minutes." And they go, "Hey, what was it?" "Oh yeah, he said it was gonna be an evaporator and then a belt and a pulley, but he was only here for like an hour and 45 minutes." And they'd be like, "Well, yeah, that's what we charge. We charge for 2 hours. That's what we pay. We pay for 2 hours and 50 minutes. So, I mean, if he happened to finish early, just make sure it's working." It's basically what they're going to tell you. They're going to say, "Hey, is that machine working? How long ago did he leave?" "Oh, it's working just fine. He left here a week ago, and I was just going over these invoices, and I didn't think that was right." They're going to say, "No, that's what we pay, sir." And they will send it to the customer. They will send them the schedule pricing guide. And they say, "This is what we do. This is what, on average, it take about 2.5 hours for what he did. But if it took him an hour and 45, man, that guy's good. That guy's good." So we don't punish people for being good at their craft, is what any factory is going to say. I don't even need to know who the manufacturer is. If you use their pricing guide, they're going to defend their pricing guide. They're going to defend their rate because you're using their numbers. They're going to defend their numbers. Well, what brother B? What brother B say? Um, All right, let's see here. So yeah, that stuff is ready right away. After 6 to 10 minutes, that stuff is ready. The reason why it's 6 to 10 because maybe it's water ice, maybe it's milkshake, maybe it's frozen yogurt. So if it has a lot of sugar in it, so 6 minutes would be vanilla. 10 minutes would be chocolate. The higher the sugar content, the harder it is to freeze. The more alcohol in something, the more it is to freeze because glycol, not glycol, yeah, glycol and all this that they use to de-ice the airplane with corn syrup, sugar, and it prevents freezing. All right. Um, you guys got any other questions while I'm running through this? Because I'm trying not to make this thing so long, and I can't really see how long I've been on here. Um, you have different. What you guys were talking about how to get in. So the most common standard unit that you're going to run across, hopefully, should be that. What's it? That F231, right? And that's I've been trying to get my hands on one myself. I have a number of units um, that I can give some classes on online. Just not really classes, but just go over a few things with them. And it's going to be very similar to the Stoelting. Actually, they're all very, very similar to one another. There's very few differences between them. Um, very few differences between them. So what we use the tech manager mode. And so yeah, it's just you using the certain buttons. It's left, right, set, select, boom, and then you're in there. Boom, 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 boom. 4 buttons. You don't have to hold down anything for like 30 seconds or anything like that, like you would with a Samsung or LG. Um, boom, boom, boom. And as fast as you can hit those buttons is as fast as you'll enter into the diagnostic mode. Um, so once you get in there, that's how you can make the changes for the different items. Because the customer on these, they have to pay you to change the machine to match what they want to do with it. So if they said, "Oh, we're switching up stuff, we sell burgers and fries. We sell burgers, fries, and we normally do strawberry milkshake. Well, now we're going to switch it up. We're going to do frozen custard. We're going to do burgers, fries, and frozen custard. Well, now they got to pay you to go in there and change the settings to match what frozen custard is supposed to be, right? So you're going over there not because it's broken, but because they need a technical service. And so you go into the service mode. And you're going to go ahead and change that and change. You're going to change everything. You're going to change everything. You're going to change sleep mode. We were going over sleep mode because sleep mode is uh, something that I had learned today. And I've been to the class before, but every time you go, you learn that one thing that makes you money that you never knew before. So after about 30 cycles, right? That's the compressor coming on, bringing the product down to temperature, right? When it finally gets down to temperature, it shuts off. Once it shuts off, that is a cycle. So it'll do that 30 times and then it goes to sleep because it's like, hey, ain't nobody using me. So once somebody uses it, that breaks the cycle. So if it does that, you know, you're gonna have to change it. So for certain product, it's 20 cycles, and others is 30. And we went over some of that. I can't go over all that stuff. Oh hell yeah, that's what the book is. All right. So somebody asked me a question: do you have schematics? I have schematics. I have You have schematics, you have pressures, you have man, like I said here. All right, because you're gonna see a very small you're gonna see a very small portion because the screen is so small. All right, so I'm giving myself a little time to pick up because I see something that you don't. Um, So let me show you the schematic. So you have all the temperature settings for the sensors, what each one is supposed to be. And yeah, like I said, you have it not only in the book, but you have it on USB, and you have it on you have it online, you have it on the book, you have it on USB. All right. So I have the schematics, I have everything. This is like my third book. All right. So this is the let me see if I can get down to that, because I have that breakdown. All right. So while I get to that and some of these other most common issues, this is also a common issue, is that it has think of it like a snorkel. Think of it like a snorkel. So you have to get, this is on the gravity feed. You got to get the product into the chamber that freezes, into the barrel, right? That's down at the bottom where the lever is. So in order to get that fluid down there, you can't have it all at once, because then you mess up your overrun. You can't have it all at once, so then you end up with thick, dense product, because now you're not able to whip air in it. There's no room to whip. It's just churning. So in order to have it whip and not churn, you need to have like this muffler, this snorkel. And so what it does is it slowly sucks the product out of the top and dispenses it into the bottom as you open up the front and dispense out the front. So that it'll siphon from the top. All right. That's the refrigerator liquid. And this is just the front plexiglass, which is all solid. You have the different O-rings and things. Those O-rings, sometimes they don't lubricate them properly. Sometimes they over lubricate them. They put the lubrication in the wrong spot. And then you have leaking here, there, and everywhere. These are extremely customer stuff that's not really customer friendly that they need technicians for. Replace all these parts. Okay, a lot of people don't understand that this next is a This is a half barrel. So what you saw right there, that didn't even go over the full, that didn't even go the full length. Oh man. Oh man, let me hurry up and go, because I'm 58 minutes just on this. All right. These are part of the paddles. These are plastic. They wear down. When they wear down, they're supposed to be changed like every 6 months. Customers never change. Sometimes they change them like once every 2 years, 3 years. They're supposed to be changed every 6 months. This is what scrapes the product from the freezing walls of the barrel of the cylinder, and brings it back into the middle of the mix. And so when it wears down, even though it has springs that help push it out toward the walls, it wears too small where it doesn't grab the product, and then you have the product freezing to the side, and way denser, and it's too strong for those plastic paddles to break it from the side, and then you end up with ice crystals in the product and everything like that. Like I said, I'm trying to go over. Yeah, this is a half. Normally, this goes all the way up. Um, Trying to fit a whole day's worth of class into a quick video for people who are not familiar with this type of product. This shaft right here that you guys are looking at, you're looking at over $1,000. That shaft alone is $1,000. Right? That's not including the other pieces. I think this is like another 50, $60 for that, what we call the boot. That goes to the back of the machine so that the liquid doesn't leak out the back of the machine. Oh man, oh day. That's the side. There's the two motors. You got two motors, one for each barrel. And that's what churns them. That's what turns that piece you saw. Thank you. I'm trying, man. I'm trying to get this, trying to get this stuff out. You have access valves. So many caps end up missing that they have decided to do this. They have decided to bond chains, bank chains, to the caps so that people don't take them with them. Well, they will, but it's going to prevent many from leaving. These are pressure switches. All right, you see the two orange wires there? That's pressure switches. They could be for low pressure or high pressure. The indication will be actually on the pressure switch, and a lot of these pressure switches will go bad. These are mainly to protect the unit. All right, they're usually there to protect the compressor. Say if it's a not exactly a high pressure, but say this is a fan cycling switch, right? So once the pressure builds so high, that is going to equate to a certain amount of heat. Well, you got to dissipate that heat. You got to get rid of that heat, otherwise, you're going to burn up that compressor. You need to remove it. So once you reach a certain pressure, it connects the circuit and activates the fan cycling switch. Well, it is the fan cycle. It activates the fan. It powers up the fan. So you have a number of things. Is your cap tubes. You guys are all familiar with that. Is a large dryer. They just have an oversized dryer to protect the system. That's all that is. All right. So there's another viewpoint. These are somewhat different than what you're familiar with. These are expansion valves. These are solenoid valves. What this is a magnet, right? And so this magnet moves a piston or shuttlecock or just like a sort of like a trap door, right? And so when you want to isolate a system, so it'll shut off the refrigerant flow, right? Shut off the refrigerant flow or open up the refrigerant flow, so like a hot gas valve, and then let that hot refrigerant go through and maybe warm up the barrel or whatever it is that you might need to do. Any other questions while I'm thumbing through this? It's got a sight glass, just like you have on walk-in refrigerators, that type of thing. Most of you guys, I have a few commercial guys that watch me, but most of you guys are residential. This is a sight glass. This is your window into the refrigeration system. All right. So it's green. It lets you know it's fully charged. It has refrigerant going over it. It'll go from like green to like purple or pink. And it let you know if you have moisture in the system. Um, and actually you can actually see the line going through. And then you get what we call flashing. Right. So if it's low on refrigerant, you see it in this section. You see it in here because it won't be enough refrigerant. And then you'll see it shouldn't be air in there, but you'll see like the air. It won't be enough refrigerant. It won't be a smooth, clear glass. It'll be cloudy. It'll look like a tsunami in there. All right. Let me running and we're walking and we're walking. All right. So this was a Stoelting Refrigeration 101. That was the teacher. This is the breakdown. This is the diagram. This is how all the magic happens. Okay, here's the control. There's your compressor. This is the old Tecumseh old Danfoss compressor. They're using scroll compressors now, like what you see in an air conditioner, right? And so just like what you have at home, the compressor is then going to is then going to go ahead and feed the evaporator to cool the air and then the air is going to blow around inside the fridge. What you have is the evaporator, what they call the hopper evaporator. It cools the product, whether that's the Italian ice mix, whether that's the frozen yogurts, blah blah blah, whatever. That's in here. All right. So you got dryer to help protect the system. This is your hot gas valve. Another filter dryer, hot gas valve. I don't think. Okay, then that's not a hot gas valve. Okay, that's the expansion ERP, electronic expansion valve. This is your high pressure cutoff, right, to protect the system. It's a check valve. All right. You got TXVs here to isolate the two cylinders because you're cooling, not just one thing. Think of this like how you guys deal with Samsung and Samsung KitchenAid and all those ones where you have the solenoid where you can provide cooling to the evaporator and the refrigerator, and then it can switch provide cooling to a little drink drawer, and it can switch and provide cooling to the freezer. That's essentially what this is doing, right? That's what this is doing. So here you have your liquid line solenoid valves, and so you can actually cool. This is actually going to freeze. So this refrigerates, the evaporator refrigerates, and the freezing cylinder evaporator freezes. So that's where the magic happens for the kids, and you pull the lever, and then everybody's all smiles. All right, let me move on because I'll be explaining this thing until freaking midnight my time, and I got to go back to class tomorrow for the Dairy Queen stuff. So this is more on that. This is another model, the U431. So I believe this one is going to be a pressurized. These have the scroll system, just like you have walk-in and you have in your air conditioners. These are the scroll compressors. All right, let me move on. Another breakdown. I did a zoom in on it. Did more zooming in on it. We're getting near the end. Okay, so this is something very important that I need to show you guys really quickly. Let me see how many people we got on. Oh, damn, we got 14 people on here. Okay. This is one of the most important things I'm going to tell you guys about these systems. So these are the different types. This is how they're able to cool and freeze everything. So some of these leak and some of these don't. And you can automatically see from this and get a pretty good idea without ever having worked on these which type had the possibility of leaking. Now, with that being said, hell, you and I can put this together. You and I can make this. All this is the refrigerant tubing wrapped around a stainless steel cylinder, right? And that's how it works. The refrigerant goes in, freezes that cylinder, and comes out. Now, this is a cutaway of the type that does not leak, will not leak, right? These hardly ever leak. I mean, you might be looking at 10 years or something like that. I have not had one that leaked, not at the evaporator. I don't get them. I've never had them where they leak at evaporator. This is where you have channels built into the cylinder, right? So the refrigerant is actually flowing through the stainless steel. It's not copper, it's stainless steel. So refrigerant goes in, goes through the stainless steel chambers, and then comes out. These do not leak. These do not leak. And so this is what I was explaining to you guys earlier is that that plastic like, it's not plastic, but this plastic like material rotates around inside the barrel, and it's scraping the walls that are freezing. And so before it freezes too much, like less than a millimeter, before it freezes too much, it scrapes it up and then brings it toward the center. Scrapes it up, see, uh, in an angular motion, right? So it's going like this as it's turning, and it's just scraping the sides and bringing it in, and is doing this in an effort to give you even consistency. Here you have the tubing. This is another style. I'm not familiar with this. I don't think I've ever seen this before. These are probably really small, but you would see them as a bigger tube like this. So this is just another way where you see like a smaller quarter, they're probably less than a quarter in size line, 3/8 size line that's wrapped around just a copper cylinder. And then you send the refrigerant through there, and it's just going to freeze whatever in the hell you put through that cylinder. All right. So that is everybody that's scared about leaks on a soft serve machine, on a gelato machine, on any of that other stuff. Man, most of the times you do not have a leak. Most of the times you do not have a leak there. All right. These, when you do have a leak, if it is up there, you got to tear apart a lot to get to it. It is not a common thing. It is not a common thing. It is not a common thing. And if I didn't say it before, it is not a common thing. So you don't have to worry about that. You will have leaks, but it won't be there. It will not be there. High side pressure. So we just talking about this is for water cooled. And like he taught me something in class today. I had a water cooled Manitowoc, pretty much like if any of you have seen my little the little unit where I worked on a Manitowoc for a little Chinese restaurant. I had one just like that was water cooled at a sauna. And the reason why it was water cooled because it was literally in the sauna area. And so no air cooled ice machine is going to work in a room full of steam. And this God's creature um, had this ice machine in the freaking sauna area. So it had to be water cooled in order for it to work. Well, this sucker was old and it was leaking. And I had always, went did seal system work. Yeah, industrial is much more robust, much more robust. You're dealing with ammonia-based systems. You're dealing with 440. You're going to deal with more with 449A, that type of thing. But anyway, so this actually comes apart. This comes apart, and so you actually don't even have to do seal system work when you're changing the high pressure valve when it's when it's a water when it's attached to water. Um, you're not you're not going to really deal with industrial. Hardly anyone makes the jump to industrial. With that being said, there's a few guys here on YouTube that do that. They actually do a mix of industrial, light industrial, commercial, and they actually do residential. But it's a very few people. I think HVACR survival, right? He does that mix. He's actually because he got real bored, which can happen. He got real bored with commercial work, and he was actually like, he was just really bored with it, and so they actually put him into more challenging stuff with industrial, not even light industrial. They just threw him into industrial, so he's been happier than a pig, and you know what? Since he's been doing that, it's been occupying his time basically. Um, so this is more of a breakdown. So you can see it's naked. There she is. There she is. You can see everything. There she is, lover. Oh hell, my phone is trying to. My phone thinks I'm talking to Siri. So you get to see where everything is in there. So we're at the end, just talking about more about TXVs and adjusting that. That is very involved to get into the TXV. Now you're talking about you're going to talk about your pressures and things like that. As you see here up top, always a quarter turn. Never do a full rotation. You're always going to do a quarter turn. I would actually mark that sucker. Got what guys do, and they'll clip um the TXV. They'll do all kind of stuff to I don't know. They'll do all kind of stuff to TXV. Most people hate TXV. You could actually rebuild it. Chris with HVACR videos, he does a lot. He has a Sporling kit where you can actually rebuild these and change the power heads and all that kind of stuff. So he's got quite a few videos. He hasn't done any in a while, but he's got it in his catalog. All right. So everything is here. So you can't you can't possibly believe that they would go through all of this and not give you schematics. Can't possibly think they would go through all this and not give you uh, temperature readings and pressures and all that kind of stuff. You have that and then some. Like I said, there's no on the commercial side of things. They're not hiding this stuff from you. If anything, you have the ones that are protecting the product, but they're protecting the product from us. They keep it to themselves. So the people that you see that don't let you in, that won't let you talk to them, that say, hey, what's your code? 9 times out of 10, that factory has their own technicians. So they're double dipping, right? So they're manufacturing the product, they're selling the product, they're selling labor contracts on the product, and then I keep forgetting you guys to see me. And then they're out there doing the work. They're out there doing the work and they're selling parts too. So why in the world would they let you get your hands on their product? They don't. The only way that they'll let you in is if you do like I told you and you go ahead and get a customer and tell them you're interested in working on their product. Once you get the customer on your side, they will then, right? So Brandon got his 10 guys and they're doing McDonald's. Brother B wants to get his 10 guys trained. Taylor won't let him do it. Brother B calls up that owner, right? I showed you guys the video, how how you can get to know who these people are. And he calls up the owner, say, hey, it's TMM. I'm ready to get my people trained on your tailors. Then you can get an access number that forces their hand. They will train Brother B's entire workforce. They will then have an access code. But you cannot get that if you do not have the customer. The customer understands this. You're just not learning this. The customer's always known this. That owner of that restaurant, whether it's Golden Corral, whether it's McDonald's, whether it's Wendy's or whatever, they know that they have to Chick-fil-A. They know that they have to provide the manufacturer with their store number and that training code, and then you're off to the races. You're off to the races. You say, yes, I am here. I'm an employee of TMM, and here's my employee number. I work for Brother B, and I'm here for the class. And then they will train you, give you everything that you see here in my hand. You will have that for those manufacturers that are not talking to you now. They will talk to you once you have that customer. Once you have that customer, their hands are tied. They got to give it to you because that customer means everything. That customer means everything. Okay. And so that's that. That's that. So the most common things are more numerous than what we have time for. All right. Do they have schematics and everything else? Yeah, I've been showing y'all that for over an hour and however long we've been here, right? So I wanted to get that out to you guys. I got some videos, but the videos are on my phone, and because I'm traveling, I do not believe that it has synced up. I do not believe that the videos have synced up. I do not. Let me see here. What is this? I don't think these videos. All right. So before I go, you guys got any questions? I don't know why these videos not playing. So these are this is an ice cream machine. This is a batch. It's a batch freezer. So what you call a batch freezer. I believe I open it up in this video. These are these are remote condensers. These are remote condensers that every Dairy Queen has to have. They're on the roof. It's not just one unit for one machine. It is one unit for each barrel, right? So imagine one of these is just the one on the left is for vanilla and the one on the right is for chocolate. You know, about $5,000 to $10,000 each just for each flavor. All right, so here's Dairy Queen. This is the big one. I have a big one and the small one. So there's the keypad, right? You hit left, right, this button, that button. Oh, excuse me, left, right, this button, that button, and you're in. You're in. Then you're in the tech mode. and you can do whatever's necessary. Do whatever necessary. All right. So they have all kind of codes on the side. Parts are listed on the side. So unfortunately, I did. This is the smaller batch maker. All right. So I can't zoom in either, but they have all the part numbers for the wearable parts right there on the side. Right there on the side. Anybody else have any questions? There's nobody asking no questions. Y'all just got me over here talking to myself in a hotel room at night like a crazy person. I know my neighbors all got real quiet. They were loud a little while ago. They said, this dude is over here yelling to himself. These are those like the siphon, the muffler, the feed tubes. These are the feed tubes, and there's not just one, multiple different feed tubes. Each one of these has two O-rings. Some of the machines I have, they have three, but these have two O-rings to prevent the liquid from going down around the sides. They only want air to come out through the top, and then these have, you can see it on this white one here. These have holes. I had to blow this up as big as possible because you guys are only seeing a portion. These have holes, and that, believe it or not, those holes are where those holes are where the product go through. So it's refrigerated at the top, and then that product goes through those holes. So you can't have pomegranate seeds. Um, you can't do any of that. This is for the machine that it dispenses out the front with the little nozzle. You can't have any of that. All right. So let me see what I got here. That's the scene. That's what you saw earlier. These are just some of the ones I took double cuts. All right. So I'll show you this, and then we're gonna end it with that. Like these machines this is the cheap one, 17,000. And this is the little one that was all wrapped in plastic that I didn't even bother to show you. This is a little guy. And so if you could see here, the controller is different. The controller isn't the one with all those. This is like a type 2 or something like that. It's in the book. It's in the book. So I have everything. I have everything in the book on how to get in there and adjust the overrun on this. So this is not going to. This one is not designed to have product sit in it. It's designed for you to pour product in it. It's going to immediately freeze, and it's going to come down that slide, and then you're going to put it in buckets. You're going to put it in buckets, whether 1 gallon, 3 gallon, 5 gallon buckets. You're going to put it in buckets and then immediately put them in freezers. All right. And then I have another one. Yeah, you guys saw this. This is the front view. So we're already in diagnostic mode. Over here on the right, we're in diagnostic mode. Man, I said I was gonna make this quick. Anyway, these are the levers. Those muffler air tubes go in here. This is where all the magic happens. That's where all the magic happens. And 18,244. That was as of this morning. See, that was as of noon today. $18,244.90. So as you can see, they're practically giving these things away. They're dirt cheap. I mean, they're dirt cheap. So that one is the one that was like, oh yeah, that's 17. But I think this one, I don't believe that this is. I don't think the price is that much less. I think it might be like $500 less because all the components are there. It's just less stainless steel. It's just less stainless steel. And you guys recognize this, right? This one is the one, that's the lift table from Northern Tool. Harbor Freights look a little different. Now mine, the wheels got torn up on mine. I'm still a little upset about that. Can't show his face. That was the teacher. All right. So like I said, that was a warranty rate times. These are their times. This is the factory's rates. This is the factory, well, not their rates, but this is their labor hours. It's the factory's numbers. You're going with their numbers. So that's it. That's it. They let us see the tensioner tool. Like I said, we went over maintenance and adjustments. That was Tesla I was in. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I do appreciate y'all spending this time. Every single subscriber means the world. I do appreciate it. I hope you guys can benefit from this. I hope you can investigate. Take a look into it, and make money, make some money, because that's what it's all about. Um, I mean, if you can get up to 10, 15 guys, your whole world will change. If you can get up to 10, 15 guys. I don't know if Brother B is here because I was there when you were talking about it. But yeah, if you can get up, even if you can get to 5 employees of your own, your whole world will change. All right. So now keeping those guys going, because then it's a whole nother thing. But once y'all get some people, once y'all get trained, then we got whole other conversations we can have once that happens. So thank you for tuning in. Um, and I appreciate everything. Appreciate everything. You all have a good night. I don't know if I got anything else I want to put out, but you guys have a good one.